Hey Kitchen Peeps, today we're doing, oh, it's Maggie, hi. We're doing a little bit of a different thing, something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I was actually about to make a different video and then realized, wait, I'm doing something that I want to make a video on, so let me just make a video real quick. So we'll hopefully keep this straight. But I'm gonna make a beef bone broth today. It's the best ever. If you've never made bone broth, you need to. If you don't have this book, you need to. Weston A. Price Foundation, Sally Fallon Morrell. This book is phenomenal. If you have any tendency to nerd out at all, even slightly, sorry, my glove, on food stuff, this book is awesome. She has, her first book was Nourishing Traditions. That's all kinds of cooking stuff. Then there's Nourishing Fats. It's amazing. Nourishing Broth, amazing. So get this book. But anyway, I'm doing kind of a pseudo version of her traditional beef bone broth. I'm kind of taking the cheater way, doing it a little more basic, but it's still amazing because I make it pretty regularly. And what I've got here is my big fat honkin' roaster that I used for the lard. If you watch my lard video, I'm going to try and turn this down. I've got a glove on for a reason. I'm not channeling Michael Jackson or anything. Hang on, let's see if we can get this down where you can see. Okay, now you can sort of see. See if I can move this guy. There we go. Okay, so here are my bones. They're beautiful. They got a little bit of meat on them. And in her recipe, she says to roast the meaty bones, and that's a great thing to do. It gives kind of a deeper flavor. It's a really good thing to do. I'm just not taking the time because I'm doing other stuff. As you can hear my oven probably in the background gurgling and grinding. And see, look at that chunky, nice bones. I got some big old marrow bones. I mean, it's awesome. So anyway, so I've had the bones. I've got 10 pounds of bones. I've got about 11 quarts of water. I've got another quart over here in a pitcher that I'm going to add when I see how much room I've got. Oh my gosh, I need to turn something off on my stove. Give me 30 seconds. Okay, sorry, that was ridiculous, but I was caramelizing some onions and realized I'm gonna burn those things up if I don't do something. But over here, ta-da, we've got 3 huge onions. And one of the beauties of bone broth, you don't even have to peel these suckers. Just cut them in some big humongo chunks. That's all you gotta do. I mean, this isn't about pretty and perfect because all this stuff's gonna be strained out anyway. It's just about get all the nutrition in your broth. So we've got 3 ginormous onions. Her recipes don't indicate weights, so we just go with it. And I've got about 8 carrots because I'm doing like 2.5 times what her recipe calls for. And then I've got about 9 celery stalks. And I'm just gonna put all these down in here along with, oh wait, sorry, let me back up. I put the bones in with the water. When I had to turn my stove off, it threw me off. And then added a cup of apple cider vinegar and let it sit just in the water, no heat, for an hour. The apple cider vinegar helps draw the minerals out of the bones. So it just kind of helps, I don't know, break them down, kind of probiotic-ish, kind of pre-digest sort of. So I did that. Now we're adding all the veggies. I've got my roaster up on about 375 just because I want it to get hot. And when it starts simmering, I am going to turn it down to just a low simmer and let it go for probably, I don't know, I may go up to 48 hours. We'll just see how I feel. And then we'll strain that off. I'm also going to add, I got some peppercorns. I'm going to add about 2.5 tablespoons of peppercorns. The tradition, Nourishing Broth Traditions. Okay, how about the Nourishing Broth cookbook, or book, it's really an educational book, talks about a bouquet garning. I don't have any fresh herbs at the moment, so I'm just going to skip that step. It still tastes amazing. It's still full of nutrition and goodness. It just won't have that extra little oomph to it. So, as you can see over here, it's really, really full. bones are all down there. So I'm just gonna let it go. Like I said, I've got another quart of water off to the side that I'll just add to kind of keep this full. Once it gets really hot and starts simmering, then I'm gonna turn it down to just a real low simmer and let it go. I mean, I'll check it tomorrow evening. After 24 hours, I may strain it off. I may let it go another 24. I mean, I'm just kind of, I don't get real overly particular about it. But the good thing is you want to get all the goodie out of the bones and make the most beautiful, tasty broth ever. And then this, if you can see, you see all my scrappies? My little pieces of carrot and onion and stuff. I am going to put those, oh, I did it without knocking it off. Excuse me, I'm gonna put those in the freezer in my scrap bag, and we'll come back to those in another video, but never ever throw this stuff away, ever. See all this, little pieces of carrot, little pieces of onion stuff. Throw it in a bag, stick it in the freezer. Throw it in a bag, stick it in the freezer. We'll come back to that. So just remember that, we'll come back to that. But stay tuned, we'll check in a couple times. I'll let you see how it's going and then see the end product. It's freaking amazing. So good for your gut health. Great for your bones. Oh shoot, and I almost forgot, dadgummit. I also have a trot, actually 2 trotters. I had them over here in my sink. Yikes, look at that. Pig trotters, eek. They're still kind of frozen together, that's why they look like that. But we're just gonna put those down in here too. Chicken feet works really well. And I had a bag of chicken feet, but I also had quite a few trotters, so I thought, well, I'll use the trotters. It adds tons, excuse me, of healthy, I got bones in my throat, collagen and gelatin into your bone broth and makes it so good. So that's that. We'll let it go, and then we'll talk about more about what we can use it for. So y'all stay tuned. All right, my peeps, home from the restaurant looking all haggard and worn out. But I guess I look haggard and worn out all the time, so whatever. We are gonna check in on the bone broth. Ooh, it smells fabulous. Woke me up about 2 o'clock this morning. Let me flip this around. Look at that. It's been going 24 hours. I mean, when it's finished, oh, look at that bone. There's not a spot of meat on it. I cannot wait. This is gonna be, oh, my trotters have just about disintegrated, which is awesome because that's gonna put a ton of collagen, gelatin, and all kinds of yummy minerals. Look at those bones in here. Ooh, look at that fat. Ooh, look at that, look at that, look at that. The onions are just about disintegrated. There's some of the celery, my carrots. So this is just gonna go. I cannot wait to squirt the marrow out of that puppy. I think I'm gonna let it go another day. Just get a little more out of the bones, and then we'll drain it off tomorrow evening. Yowzer. God, this is gonna be so good. And I'm gonna put it in little quart containers in my freezer, and then just get it out when I want to drink something amazing. So, just want to check in, and we'll finish it up tomorrow. Okay, I'm home from the restaurant. Had a full busy day. It was good, but worn out. But I got to deal with my bone broth, which is fine. It's a good thing. I'm not complaining about it. So what I've got is a ginormous bowl and a, can't see that. Let me turn the camera a little bit. A scoopy thing. I've already dipped it down in here, so I don't want to swing it around. But now I'm just going to scoop out all the bones and the vegetables that are in here. And let me turn this down so y'all can see. This stuff is beautiful. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful. So I'll go back and strain this a second time. But for now, I'm just going to kind of quickly get all the bones and the veggies out. If I had dogs, oh, good golly, if I had dogs, I would so give them this stuff. They would absolutely freak out and love it. But we currently don't have any dogs. Hoping to sell our house soon and move out on some property and get some dogs. But right now we don't. So that's all this step is. So I'll pause. Y'all don't watch me just sit here and scrape bones out of a big roaster. But look at this broth. Is that the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? It is gorgeous. And it is going to be so gelatinous, which is going to be so good for my gut. But anyway, this is mine, all mine, all mine. I'm not doing this for the restaurant. I'm doing this for my home, and I'm pretty stoked about it. So I will finish scooping this out and then strain this off, show you that piece, and then we're pretty much done. So hang tight. All right, look at this. I've got pretty much everything scooped out. Look how beautiful that is. I cannot even wait to taste this. The flavor is going to be unbelievable. Now I'm going to strain this again because there's still little bits and pieces of vegetables and some peppercorns, and Lord knows I don't want to drink one of those, and some little tiny bone fragments. Don't want that either. So I'm going to, after this cools down some because it's really hot, I'm going to strain it and then put it in containers and stick it in my freezer and have loads and loads of beef bone broth whenever I want it. And then this, if you can see, this is all the goo that I pulled out. I'm going to let this cool a little bit, and then I'm going to strain it again because there's quite a bit of bone broth in here from where I was just scooping it out. But I was just trying to get the bulk of it out of there. So I'll strain this and guarantee you I'll get several cups at a minimum out of here. And then I've never done this before, but I'm going to try some of these veggies, giving them to my chickens. I don't know if they'll eat them, but I'm going to give it a shot. If not, then they'll go in the trash, and I hate that. And then look at these bones. Look at these babies. I don't know if y'all can see. Let me turn this down one more click, hopefully without breaking something. There we go. Look at these things. They look like they've been bleached in the sun. These are what I just scooped out of here not 2 minutes ago. But you can tell, I mean, the inside's gone. They have given up all they got. Look at this thing, how porous that is. Can you see that? I mean, all the goodness that there is in these bones is now in that broth that is going to be unbelievably healing for my gut. Oh my gosh, I just cannot. I mean, these almost look like coral that you'd find in the ocean. But I decided I've never done this before either, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to let these dry good, and then I'm going to roast them, slow roast them in the oven, and see if I can just get them broken down even more. Look at all these tiny little bones. These came out of the trotters, a pig's foot. But anyway, and try and get them even more broken down and brittle, and then bash them in and try and make some homemade bone meal, which will go in my garden, which will be, mine and my husband's garden, which will be absolutely amazing for our soil health. So, throw that over there. That's the scoop on that. I can't wait. I've never done it, but I'm going to give it a shot. So, let's see. Up we go. All right. Oof, I'm looking kind of scraggly. But that's it. That is bone broth. I'll show you once I strain this out. I mean, you could definitely drink it as it is, but I just want mine a little more pure, I guess. And I definitely don't want to see, I just scooped up. Well, you can't see because I don't want to drag this old nasty, drippy. But see, I just scooped up and there's a bunch of little bone fragments. Owie, and that is freaking hot. So we definitely don't want that in our bone broth. So I'll strain that out, and then I'll give you one last either picture or quick snip of the video to let you know how many quarts I wound up with when I got the final product done. But I'm excited. I absolutely love beef bone broth. Just a little pinch of sea salt in there and sip on it. It's so good. And to cook with it, use that to make a gravy. Oh, you have never had an amazing gravy until you've used a beef bone broth that's been slow cooked for a long time. So anyway, it's gonna go in the freezer. I'm gonna do some quarts because that way I can drink 3 or 4 cups over a few days period when I thaw out one of them. And then I'm probably gonna do some in 2-cup measures. That'll be great for like gravy and adding to sauces and stuff. So that's a scoop. I'll show y'all one last snippet when I get it all poured up, and that's bone broth, beef bone broth. Awesome. So see y'all back in a little while. Okay, sorry, I'm back again. You know me and my, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell them. One thing I wanted to show y'all, let me turn this down now that the stock, well, my big fat fingers in the camera. Come on, turn, there we go. Now that the stock is, or the bone broth, I mean, it's been sitting a bit, you can see the grease, the oil, the tallow is what it is on top. So one thing I didn't tell y'all is I'm gonna strain it off, and I've got a cheesy system here, a big fat plastic bowl. I hate plastic, but it's all I have that's even remotely big enough. And then a pretty decent strainer. It's not super fine, but it's gonna get out chunks of veggies and chunks of bones. After I strain everything through here, then I'm gonna stick this bowl in the fridge. I skipped this step in my description earlier. And I'm gonna let it get really cold, obviously. So you can see that line of the tallow that's rendered out. And I'm gonna let that solidify on top. And then I'm gonna come back and just peel it off in chunks. And I'll stick it in separate jars and keep it in the fridge and use it to cook with. You can, oh, look at that. You can put some of the fat in each of the bone broth cups and drink that, and that's really good too, but I prefer to just skim it out and use it to cook with. So I'll show you a little picture of that, but I just wanted you to know, because you're gonna have quite a bit. So that'll make quite a nice, I mean, I might get a couple of jars worth of tallow out of here, which would be awesome to cook with. So just a little update I forgot to tell y'all about. We'll be back. Okay, so we're back for another installment on the bone broth. This should be the finished, the final one, the finished one, whatever the end of it. I got, let me turn my camera down so y'all can see. Okay, so I've got this ginormous bowl full, and then I have another one in the refrigerator. So I had it sit in there overnight. This is the fat that I was telling y'all about. So I'm going to just like scrape this off. I'll get a knife and kind of cut it up and put it in some containers. Just trying to get, there we go. You can put the fat in your broth and, you know, put a little bit in each cup and let that be in there and just add to the richness of the flavor. And I've done that, that's all fine and good, but this time I want to scrape my fat out and put it in a separate container. I'm gonna stick it in the freezer, and then I can just pull out chunks of it when I need it. I just wanted to grab a little scoop, but look at this. Is that the most beautiful? It is so creamy and thick. I mean, look at that. It's almost like a syrup. It's so thick from all of the goodie. So I am going to fill up several 32-ounce containers, like I think I mentioned before the other day, yesterday or whatever that was, and stick them in my freezer. And then I'm going to do a bunch of 16-ounce so that I just have different sizes. Because if I want to drink it, I'll probably thaw out a 32 because that'll give me like 2 days worth. And then if I'm making a gravy, a 16 would probably do me. If I'm making a soup or something, you know, probably a couple 32s. So it just kind of depends on what I'm doing as to how much I'd want. But this is it, y'all. Thick and almost creamy. It's so thick. But I'm going to finish doing this. I'll give you one tiny last peek when I'm done, just so you know the total amount, how many ounces I wound up with. And y'all need to give it a shot. Find a farmer near you. If you're near me and you want help, I can hook you up and get you some bones. But find a farmer that raises animals the way God intended, on green grass, in the sun, not in a confined animal, nasty, disgusting place, and not shooting them up full of all kinds of chemicals, and feeding them things that God did not intend for them to eat. And support the farmer, and support your body, support your immune system by drinking this amazing stuff. So I'll quit babbling, finish my job, and y'all give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Okay, I'm all done. I'm so excited. I got 2, 4, 6, almost 8, like 7 3/4, 32 ounce, which are quarts, and then 4 pints. Sorry, I should have moved these before I don't want to stick my hand up there and cover up the camera lens. Yeah, this is good camera skills as always. And then I've got a 32, let me just count. Look at that. Look at that. I'm so excited. This is going in the refrigerator. I'm going to drink it immediately. I'm going to freeze all the rest of this. So I'll be drinking this, probably cooking with this. There's my fat. I got a 32 ounce. And see, it's just like the way I pulled it off the top. And I'll just dig out what I need. And when I'm making a beef gravy, that will be awesome. So, back around. That's it. Oops, sorry. There we go. That's it. Beef bone broth. It's the best. So good for you, for your body, for your skin, your nails, your immune system, your joints, your everything, your mind, your gut-brain connection. It's all good. It's all good. Give it to your kids. Get them using it, drinking it. So hug, like, subscribe, try it, comment, do all the things, and we'll see you around on another video. Maggie out.